Political analyst Ahmad Shahidov will join us now from Baku, Azerbaijan, to discuss the latest from the Middle East. Good to see you, Ahmad.
Hello, thank you for having me in your program.
Now, several high-ranking officials from different countries were in attendance at President Raisi's funeral. What was the significance of the high-profile attendance from international dignitaries, and what message does it send about Iran's diplomatic relations despite Western sanctions?
Yes, thank you. Greetings from Baku, Azerbaijan. Of course, President death is a huge tragedy, not only for Iran nation, for all mankind as well, because once again it showed that no any leaders in the world, no prime ministers, no presidents is insured against this kind of crashes. And Ibrahim Raisi's days and the international reaction to this tragedy once again showed that there are hundreds of countries and states in the world that express condolences to Iran state, Iran nation, and visiting hundreds of state officials, prime ministers and presidents to Tehran and to take part in this ceremony once again showed that Iran has international support from different countries, not only the Muslim countries, from the other countries as well. And it's once again showed that international community support Iran's state and will continue to support Iran after the Raisi as well.
Now, what are your thoughts on the future of Iran's foreign relations without the leadership of President Raisi and Foreign Minister Amir Abdullahian?
Of course, Iran's president's death will impact on Iran's future, but we will observe some less changes in internal policy, not in foreign policy. And I don't think that Iran's foreign policy will be changed, because before the Ibrahim Raisi and after him, the foreign policy of the Iran is the same, and Iran will push its foreign policy in the same direction. We will see the Iran's role in Middle East, in South Caucasus, in other Muslim countries, regions. So I don't think that Ibrahim Raisi's days will impact somehow to Iran's foreign policy, because the main persons in Iran is supreme religious leader Ali Khamenei. He determined the foreign policy of the state, and after the Ibrahim Raisi, the next president will be elected in 2 months, in 50 days, and the next president also will continue the same path and will push the same foreign policy, I think.
Now let's talk about other developments. Ireland, Norway and Spain have announced they will formally recognize a Palestinian state from 28 May. How significant is this move for the people of Palestine?
Yeah, of course, this news is very important, and they were after the October 7 events. It's already 8 months that all mankind see the genocide in Middle East, in Palestine. And if the first days and first weeks Israel attacks to Gaza was supported by some European countries, but after a couple months, all the world, all countries, even the European countries who used to support the Israel, they saw that this is the international war crime by Israel army in Palestine. This is genocide, and these war crimes committed against the civilians, and this is not the battle and fight against the Hamas. This is the war crime against the civilians, against the Palestinian people. That's why gradually the European countries such as Norway, Ireland, Spain, they has decided to recognize the Palestine as independent state, and it will strongly affect on the situation in the region, in Middle East, as well as the relations between Israel and those European countries. And I believe that the list of the countries who will recognize the Palestine will be enlarged. The next will be Egypt, the next will be United Arab Emirates, the next will be the other countries, because all people, all nations, all countries in the world, they already understood that the main aim of the Israel is not the release of Israeli civilians hostage and fight against the Hamas. The main aim is to completely destroy the Gaza Strip, completely destroy the will of the Palestinian people, and by this way to control all the region. So that's why those European countries already understood the situation, and they try to express their side by recognizing the Palestinian state, and it will, of course, it will impact on the decisions of the other countries, especially European countries. But another important issue is United States of America, that stands with Israel and support this occupation policy, this genocide. And we also know about the latest decision of International Criminal Court about the arrest of Prime Minister of Israel Netanyahu and Minister of Defense of Israel. It's also a very strong decision. But as Israel doesn't recognize International Criminal Court, it makes some problems. And another important element is the support of United States of America. You know, now the United States is discussing and looking for the sanctions, how to stop the International Criminal Court and its prosecutors. So this is how somehow once again showed that there is no justice and there is no any law in the world. So if the justice comes to Israel, to United States, they violate all international law, they violate all international norm, even they they don't recognize the decisions of International Criminal Court. This is once again showed the double standards in the world. So that's why I believe that International Criminal Court against, in the background, all threatening on sanctions to this court, the prosecutors of International Criminal Court will continue and will push on their own decision. But anyway, there is no any mechanism to arrest Prime Minister and Minister of Defense of Israel, because Israel doesn't recognize this court, and United States of America stands with Israel. But anyway, this is the very historical and very important decision. This once again proved that Israel commits war crimes and genocide against mankind and against the humanity, against the Palestinian people in Middle East. And these decisions will stay in the history as very important historical and very lawful document. This is very important decision. But anyway, I don't believe that the International Criminal Court will able to implement this decision, because Israel doesn't recognize this court, and in general Israel doesn't recognize any international regulation. Israel violates the UN decisions, violates the Geneva Convention, all decisions that support the Palestinian people, the state of Palestine. But anyway, the decision of the International Criminal Court is very important. I believe that after this decision, other international platforms, other international organizations, they also will express the decision, and they will condemn what's going on in the Middle East, and somehow all this decision will stop the aggression of Israel against Palestinian people in Gaza, in Rafah, in Ramallah, in other cities.
Now, how has Israel responded to Norway, Spain, and Ireland's decision to recognize a Palestinian state?
For now, Israel just called back the ambassadors of Israel in those countries. This is the first step, and Israel government called back the ambassadors to have discussions about the future relations with those countries. I think that Israel will push some sanctions on these countries, and by the support of United States, they will have put some sanctions together to these countries, maybe economic, maybe political sanctions. Maybe the United States will stop to sell some weapons to those countries against the Russian aggression. But anyway, this is very important decisions, and this opens the way for other countries in Europe, in the other regions that will have the same decisions to recognize the Palestinian state. If the state of Palestine will be recognized by more and more countries, they will change the shape of the world political map, and they will it will make the shape that Israel occupies the independent country, attacks the independent state like Palestine. So anyway, the main decisions should be made in the United Nations Security Council. This is the main tribune of the world. But if to take into account that United States of America is one of the permanent members of UN Security Council, anyway, as a result, all of these discussions, any sanctions and decisions against Israel will not be made because of the veto right of United States of America. But in general, the decisions to recognize the Palestinian state is very important, and these decisions change the shape of the situation in Middle East.
Now, lastly, Israel has historically excelled in public relations campaigns, but do you think it has now lost the PR battle as the Gaza war is increasing support for Palestinian statehood?
Of course, definitely. Israel used the propaganda, anti-Semitism. If in any country some politicians or any state will make a decision or statement against Israel, Tel Aviv, Netanyahu or other politicians, Israel started to say that this is anti-Semitism, and some European countries supported it. Even in October, when the first clashes between Hamas and Israel started, all European countries supported Israel because of this anti-Semitism issue. But after a couple months, those European countries who used to support Israel first weeks, first days, they now recognize the state of Palestine, because they did understand that this is not the self-defense of Israel. This is the genocide. This is the war crime against Palestinian people, civilians, because during the last 7-8 months already 40,000 civilians, 40,000 Palestinians were killed by Israel army. The main target of the Israel army are the civilians, and that is why now the propaganda of Israel was failed, and all international community, they understood the main aim and plan of Israel. Now all international community, most of international community, they stand with Palestinian people, and they somehow try to make the effort, and one of the decisions to recognize the state of Palestine is to stand with Palestinian people. So the statehood of the Palestine is recognized by countries. That this is once again showed that the propaganda of Israel about anti-Semitism already failed, and the international community, they already started to understood what's going on in the Middle East, and they started to support the Palestinian people and recognize the state of Palestine, because this is the only way to resolve this conflict. If there will be two states in the region, so they will have dialogue and they will solve this problem. Other way, Israel will continue its occupation, it will continue this genocide and war crimes against Palestine.
Ahmad Shahidov, thank you for joining NewsHour, and thank you for your analysis.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now moving on with our world news.